Good morning everyone. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to day 4 of the Faculty Development Program. Today we delve into an essential area of academic and research work, mastering basic data analysis through SPSS, a skill that empowers us to drive meaningful insights from data and elevate the quality of our research. We are honored to have with us Dr. Riha Parvi, Assistant Professor at the Anapoya Research Center for Finance and Entrepreneurship Development, Anapoya, Mangalore, as our esteemed resource person for the day. To formally welcome our guests, I now request Dr. Nikshita, Coordinator of the FDP and Assistant Professor at Institute of Management and Commerce, Srinivas University, to kindly offer a formal welcome to Dr. Riha Parvi. Thank you, Dr. Nikshita. To help us to know more about our distinguished speaker, I now invite Professor Hansel Rego to read out the profile of Dr. Riha Parvi. Over to you, sir.
Dr. S.M. Riha Parvi is currently serving as an Assistant Professor at Anapoya Research Center for Finance and Entrepreneurship Development, YIASCM, Anapoya Deemed to be University, Bangalore, with expertise in finance for the UGC National Eligibility Test, that is NET, in Management and Commerce, as well as the Karnataka State Eligibility Test, that is KSET, in Commerce. She has completed her PhD at the Institute of Management and Commerce, Srinivas University, Mangalore. As a recipient of the Junior Research Fellowship from the Directorate of Minority Government of Karnataka, Dr. Riha is committed to exploring diverse research domains including stock market participation, financial literacy, financial inclusion, Islamic finance, agribusiness, fintech and innovation, higher education and socio-economic empowerment. Dr. Riha has contributed significantly to academic literature, publishing articles in Scopus, Web of Science, ABBC, UGC CARE listed journals including Q1, Q2 and ABBC B and C categories. She has presented her research at numerous national and international conferences, earning accolades such as Best Paper Awards. Additionally, she serves as a reviewer for reputed international publishers, including Taylor and Francis, Springer and Emerald. Her areas of expertise include bibliometric analysis using EOS Viewer, data analysis using SPSS and AMOS, research methodology, research paper writing and skill development. She has conducted various workshops on these topics at state and national levels. Beyond her academic pursuits, she has judged many events in intercollegiate fests and delivered many motivational speeches for students, inspiring young minds to achieve their potential. Dr. Riha's enthusiasm for academic collaboration has led her to engage in research partnerships with both national and international researchers, fostering a global perspective with more than 2 years of teaching experience. As a teaching assistant and assistant professor, she continues to enrich the academic community with her knowledge and dedication. Presenting to you Dr. Riha Parvi. A big round of applause. Welcome to you, ma'am. And now, I request Dr. Riha Parvi to take over the session. Thank you.
So a very good morning. I'm really happy to be here for the second time. And the last session we had on bibliometric analysis, and today we will be having a session on mastering data analysis using SPSS, right? So SPSS is not new to any of the researchers as well as the faculties, right here. So how many of you all are used to SPSS? No. So we will be starting from the basics. We will be understanding what is data. Then we will be understanding how we can convert the data and process the data and come out of that some kind of information and inference. Okay, now let me just understand my participants. I'm really happy to have the faculties, scholars, professors who are teaching from many years here. So how many of you all have already completed PhD? So how many of you all have joined PhD? Okay. So this session will be very useful because I am not only going to ponder on how to actually use the SPSS, I will also be going to the backward of the SPSS, and first we will understand what is research, then we will move on with what is questionnaire, then we will go with the SPSS. Alright. For online participants, am I audible? Okay. So, what is your basic idea regarding research? What is this research? So, the name itself says that it is a research. So, there is some kind of phenomena, some kind of problem that is urging an individual to research on that particular phenomena. So, we live in a society, or we live in a world where we do not know a complete reality of the whole world. So there are previous authors, previous researchers who have come up with the various theories, various ideologies, various notions. So at present, if we have to tell the knowledge, we have only the partial reality. That partial reality is nothing but, it is the theory what we call, right? Now in different contexts or different disciplines, we have different kinds of theory. The first theory what I can tell in the hard science is the gravity, right? So one of the person called Newton has invented, or he has found that particular theory, that is that there is a gravity exists, right? Same way in management we have different kinds of theory. We have Abraham Maslow's theory or need. There are 5 needs, starting with physiological to the self-actualization need. So these are some kind of partial reality we have, and we consider this partial reality and we try to explore the various causes behind the problem which exists in our society. Right? Now let me just show you few of the pictures. Okay, now looking at this picture, what do you see in these particular pictures? The first picture what we can see, paying money, right? Paying money or using the banking facilities. Same way we are seeing another picture where everything is becoming digitalized, right? And if we have to compare the rural context and the urban context, there exists a digital gap, right? So these are some kind of problem which we are observing in our society. Now look at the second picture, we have a breach of data privacy concern. So these are also some kind of problem that exists in our society, right? Now look at this picture, what do you find in this particular picture? Debt, right? A person is trapped into debt. We have home loan, we have vehicle loan, we have personal loan. Upon that we want to have EMIs to purchase our iPhone, right? So we have debt upon debt, we are trapped into debt. So how this help you to identify some of the real problem. So don't you think these are the problems that requires attention, right? We need to come up with some kind of research to identify the various causes. Now the moment I see the cause behind this particular debt trap is what? If I have to justify this particular debt trap, which theory I can suggest? Which theory will give me back end support? It is the same theory which I was talking, that is the Maslow's hierarchy of need. It is because of your desire. Once you complete your first necessity, right? Then from necessity it becomes your luxurious desire, right? So this is how you are justifying your problem with the well-established theory. So the first and foremost thing what a researcher should do is identifying a strong research problem. Okay? In one case it may be a problem, or another case it may be a trend. What do you see in these pictures? The green pictures? It is a trend, nothing but sustainability. We have 17 sustainable development goals, right? Now anything you see, any marketing you see, you are finding ethical marketing, green marketing, environmental friendly marketing, right? Now the question here is, we have reached a saturation wherein we are identifying that everywhere they are claiming green. But to what extent a consumer can believe that they are going green? That is called as a consumer skepticism. So this skepticism can cause harm to the marketing. So how this consumer skepticism can be tackled also can be another way of research. So this is how you have to identify the research. Yes. Now next picture you see your financial planning, right? You have to think about your financial planning. When it comes to a financial planning, how many of us have a retirement planning here? Nobody have a retirement planning. If I find that 0% of the individual have retirement planning in this particular sample, that indicates what? We have a problem. We do not have financial planning, right? If you same question if I ask in the developed countries, majority of the people will raise their hand. This is one of the reasons we are developing, right? So when each and every individual have their personal financial decision making, then only the macro level development we will get to see, right? So this is how you can identify your research problem. First, you will be identifying your domain, finance, marketing, HR, whatever. Then after that you need to identify the problem in that particular domain. The moment you are identifying a strong problem in your particular domain, 50% of your research will get over there and then. Right? And other problems also we have. And one more important problem if you see, in the medical field, there are many medical errors which is happening. And if you see, once you have any kind of operation or surgery, after 1 or 2 months, you will find that there is some other problem. Again they will call for surgery. After 3 months you will find again there is a problem. So this is the incident shared by one of the professor, that he was consulting a doctor. They asked him to do the surgery. After 3 months they told, doctor said he consulted the other doctor. Why the hospitals must have the marketing team? Whether hospital is the necessity or the luxury. It is the necessity. Why the hospital need to have marketing? Just to spread awareness, okay. But to the greatest extent, campaign, why it has to be conducted? Right? Now the system, there is a problem. There are many problems that exist for which you can give the solution. You have to find that kind of problem. So research is basically strong with the strong problem. And it is a journey from problem to problem. You may find some kind of solution from the problem. That solution will indicate another problem for the other researchers to conduct the study. Right? So basically, if you see, this is one of the study which we conducted, where we empowerment in the rural area. I'll be moving to the SPSS. I know all are eager to touch your laptop and play with your laptop and feed the data, code the data. But before that, let us understand the gist of why data is important. Data is important to convert the problem into solution. To understand that there exists a problem, we need a data. To solve that problem also, we need a data. Right? Now here if you see, we have highlighted the problem. That is lack of financial literacy, lack of financial inclusion, huge gap between the digital and urban area. So then we have come up with that particular model. And this is also another issue, that is the stock market participation. Every time I give this example, that in India, only 10% of the population participates in the stock market. Most of them have found it is because of the financial literacy. But there were few studies that showed that it is because of the social exclusion. We are not interacting with our colleagues, friends, families regarding our financial matter, and thereby we are not getting the sufficient advice that is required, and we are hindering ourselves to go with the stock market. Right? So this is what we have proved in our study. These are some of the studies. So our research problem has to be strong, and this is very important. When we are going through a journey from problem to problem, the procedure should be highly systematic and it should be highly scientific. Alright. Now, the data, whatever data we get, it helps us in converting the problem into solution, but it can extend forward. The good researcher can convert the data into a startup as well. So how? That has to be identified by the researcher. Now, for example, if you see, this is the sequence which I have mentioned. Once you identify that there exists a research problem, you have to come up with the solution by conducting a research. That same research can be published and your findings can be publicized among all. Everybody will come to know the moment you are publishing it. If you are retaining for yourself, there is no use of that particular data which you have collected to solve your problem. So it has to be published, you will get a publicity. Then after it gets published, you should acquire the ownership on it. That is nothing but obtaining the patent. Right? Then after you obtain the patent, that same patent can be converted into products or services if you dig deeper into it, and ultimately that can also lead to startup. This is what we are teaching our students also in the present. That is how your problem can be converted into solution, and that solution can be converted into product. The best example is this one. Anybody knows him? Nobody knows him? He is Chakrabarti, Dr. Chakrabarti, Anand Chakrabarti. So what he has done, he has given a great contribution in the microbiology. So in the logistics or port, we have a major issue. Decades ago also we had a major issue that when it comes to a transportation through sea, that is through port, what used to happen was there used to be a problem of crude oil spillover. So this crude oil spillover was the major concern for the environmental pollution. That time he came up with the solution and he added 2 or 3 bacteria and he came up with a solution that consumes or that avoids the harmful effect of this crude oil to the sea. He understood that there is a problem. The problem was crude oil spillover. He conducted an experiment and did a research and he came up with the solution, that is the bacteria. The solution he has come up with, then that same thing he published in the research article, and the same thing he obtained the ownership over, that is nothing but he took a patent. Then that was later converted into product and then later it can be commercialized. He himself did not take over the startup, but the same idea is taken by all the startups in this particular area. So this is how your research should be converted. Okay, now these are some of the gist regarding the research. there are major problems which we are finding in our researchers. How many of your study article title starts with a study on? Everybody's? When everybody knows that it is a research, it is a study, there is no need to mention that a study on. So this is the traditional practice that can be avoided. This is the first thing. Another thing is that with special reference to Dakshina Kannada, with special reference to Bangalore, all this also reduces your generalizability. So you can mention that in your methodology section and avoid writing that in the title. So there are another research practices that without knowing that there are a lot of quality journals, quality articles where you can submit your paper, most of us we pay money and we publish the article. So these are some of the research practices that should be avoided to get a recognition as a researcher and to follow the ethical practices in the research domain. So these are some of the things which we are doing wrong. It is not few or majority, it is everybody. Most of us have done one of the other things, using fully generative AI or using, considering only the survey studies. We usually do what? We spread the questionnaire, we collect the data and we do the analysis and we complete our PhD. It is not that way. The selection of methodology depends on your problem. The moment you understand that this particular problem requires experiment, you will stop that research, you will go for another research. So as a researcher, we should learn the various methodological rigor, then only we have to implement it. No problem should be left out because the methodology is difficult. Right? So these are some of the problem or some of the area that we should overcome. Alright. Okay, now what is the trend in research? In research, the major trend what you get to see today, if you want to publish in a very reputed journal, is the experimental study. We are doing an experimental study wherein we are having a generative AI at present. When it comes to stock market investment, we take advice from the human advisors, right? Financial advisors. Now, as the ChatGPT has come into existence, generative AI has come into existence, we wanted to conduct an experiment whose advice will be better. Whether ChatGPT's advice will be better or the financial advisor's advice will be better. So there are three groups which we have done. One with ChatGPT advice only, one with the financial advisor's advice only, and the third group with both. That is ChatGPT as well as financial advisors only. Now considering this, we wanted to find which is effective. So according to our hypothesis, when we take advice from both, it is considered as more effective. So this is how you can go with many experimental studies, and you can also conduct a study where you are not only focusing on one particular group, but you can also focus on other groups. For example, see this particular study. So this is basic structural equation modeling. So how many of you all know what is conceptual model or structural equation modeling? Structural equation modeling. There is a model, right? Before we start up with the questionnaire or collect the data or feed the data into SPSS, we have to come up with the model. Okay? So this is one of the study wherein they have identified that there is a group of people called as bottom of pyramid people. Who are those? Those who are belonging to the backward section. Kind of, they are having some kind of employee's motivation plays a vital role. But what about his wife? What about his wife's satisfaction? So if I want to see whether wife satisfaction can have influence on the employee performance, from how many I should collect the data? Whether only from the employees is enough? Only from an employee is enough? No. We have to collect from employee also and his or her spouse also. Right? So here they have gone up with the dyadic model. So there are some kind of advanced research which is taking place wherein we are seeing the influence of both. There are many target respondents and we are testing that in a single model. Now if you see here, this is the example, best example for the dyadic model. Here, when the employee is in a dilemma that whether he wants to go for the management position or the technical expert position. Management position is something prestigious, right? Prestigious in the sense you have to deal with the people, like you will build up your reputation, everything matters in the management position. And technical expert field, he will be doing his own work, like how employees are working the same way. Now, in this choice, who plays a vital role? So they wanted to know whether the employee's spouse motivation plays a vital role here. So what they have done here is, you can see the spouse views and expectations. So this is the model. In this model, some constructs are measured from the spouse side and some constructs are measured from the employee side. So the result, you see the result over there. So they have considered 200 employees. Suppose I am considering 200 employees, I am taking their same spouse. Suppose if madam is my respondent, madam's husband also will be my respondent. Suppose if Sharmila madam is my respondent, Sharmila madam's husband is also my respondent. Suppose Nelson sir is my respondent, his wife also will become my respondent. So 200 dyadic pair. That means totally I have a 400 respondents. So considering that, I am measuring whether the choice, what Nelson sir will do to go for the prestigious position or management position or technical expert, it depends on sir's wife. If she is career oriented, if she is materialistic, then she will definitely influence her to go and take management position. This is the finding of the study. So this is what we have found here. You can see the researchers surveyed over 200 employee spouse pairs and found that when spouses strongly value careers or materialistic success, they tend to want their partners to pursue higher status jobs, usually management. Right? So research can be done this way as well, not only by considering one particular population or one particular target. Right? Okay, now let us come to the practical component of it. So these are some of the words which we need to understand before going into the questionnaire. Right? What is this construct? What is this variable? And what is this conceptual model? What is the construct? Can anybody tell me? It is questions, statements, no. It is connected to statements and questions, but here this construct is nothing but the concept. It is the abstract idea. For example, motivation. Motivation is a concept. Right? Now, there is a saying that God gave easy task to the hard science people and toughest task to the soft science people. Why? What is this hard science? We have chemistry, biology, right? Here everything is measurable. In weight, kg, milliliter. Okay, everything is measurable, so we can easily do the research. But when it comes to a soft science, what is soft science? Psychology. Right? We have psychology. Here, everything is not directly measurable. Can I measure a person's motivation just by looking at her? Or with one sentence, are you motivated? Is that enough for me to measure her motivation? No. So this motivation is the concept. It is the construct. Right? Then what is this variable? something invisible, the moment we can measure that particular concept, it becomes our variable. Simple to understand. You see this example. From the theory, we will get a concept. For example, motivation. Right? Motivation can be according to this conceptualization. Conceptualization is nothing but the abstract idea which is given by the previous researchers or various theories. Right? So the concept of motivation means what? It is intrinsic and extrinsic. Motivation can be within and outside. That is what a self-determination theory states, that motivation is intrinsic in nature, at the same time it is also extrinsic in nature. Here I cannot measure. In this stage I just know the meaning. But the moment I am coming up with the statement, as ma'am said and sir said, it is a statement or the questions. The moment I am coming up with the statement to measure intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation, and I am putting the number. You can see there Likert scale. The moment I can measure this intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, it becomes operationalization. It is nothing but motivation becomes your variable. The moment I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, strongly agree to strongly disagree, I can convert these 5 words into numbers. It becomes operationalized. It becomes our variable. Any doubts so far? Any doubts so far? In the conceptualization, operationalization, this is how we prepare the questionnaire. Right? Now, first will be conceptualization, then you have to operationalize it, then you have to go with the item development, then finally you have to do the pilot testing and you have to validate your questionnaire. Every time, so far most of the scholars have consulted regarding the data analysis part. So the problem here is that they will directly come after data collection. With the questionnaire what they have prepared, they will come after data collection. After data collection, nothing can be done to your model or your research. Anything is there, the moment you are preparing your questionnaire, you please go with the validation with the subject expert, psychologist as well as the statistician. There only you have to make any changes. The moment you are collecting the data, you have already fell into the trap. Right? So, before collecting the data, you have to validate it. Right? Now, we are coming to the point of the variable. Concept is understood, variable is understood. Now, under variable, we have different kinds of variable. The two most prominent one is independent variable and dependent variable. Right? Now, if I have to give you the example, impact of sustainability practices on educational institutions' performance. Impact of sustainable practices on educational institutions' performance. Which is independent variable, which is dependent variable? How many variables do we have in this statement? 2. Which are those? Sustainability practices is one variable and institutional performance is another variable. Now, which is independent? Sustainability practices becomes independent and institutional performance becomes dependent. Right? That means institutional performance depends on our practices. Right? Those are two variables. Now, apart from that, we have something called as mediator. What is this mediator? It is the reason. Reason is okay. It is the connector is also okay. Now see, we may have different route from Suratkal to Srinivas University. I can come from KPT. I can also come from Car Street. So Car Street becomes my mediator. You understand? So to reach the final destination, which are the various ways or various variables I have to connect to is the mediator. Now for example, you see here, it is the mediation. For example, is there a chop? Yeah. For example, we have motivation. Motivation is my, sorry, this is motivation leading to job performance. Okay, motivation leading to job performance. What is my motivation? Which variable? Motivation is, see, motivation leading to job performance. Motivation becomes our independent variable and performance becomes our dependent variable. That means my performance highly depends on my motivation, right? Now this motivation, to reach there, I may have job satisfaction also, right? My motivation can lead me to my job satisfaction, and this job satisfaction can also improve my job performance, right? In this case, what it becomes? It becomes mediator. And one thing you should know, that mediator is always created by the independent variable. When you have motivation, then only you can have job satisfaction. Okay, that is why it answers how it is connecting, then why. Why motivation leads to job performance? Because of my satisfaction. Right? So what is this moderator? What is this moderation? This moderation is nothing but, it is a boundary condition. Boundary condition indicates, for example, now this motivation to job performance. If my colleagues are good to me or happy with me, what happens? My motivation to job performance may be more. I am coming every day, I am motivated, but the moment my colleagues start disrespecting me or start behaving me in a different way, what happens? My performance may reduce. Right? So, colleague support can also be a variable which plays a moderating role. It plays a moderating role. That means what? Higher the colleague support, better will be the contribution from motivation to performance. Lower is the colleague support, lower will be the contribution from motivation to performance. So this is how moderator plays a vital role. And one thing you should know, this moderator is independent. It is not created by any of the variable. This is the major difference between mediator and moderator. Clear? This is clear? I am explaining this because we have to do all these things in the SPSS. Okay? Is this clear? Moderator, and another moderator also can be whom, for whom. For example, if I consider a gender, it may be different between male and female. So this gender also can become moderator. My gender also can have influence on my relationship between motivation and job performance. All clear? Yes. Now this is one of the paper which is published in the Top Tier Journal. Can you interpret this particular model? What is happening here? I am a faculty. I have all the resources in my work environment. Okay? That work environment is improving my task performance and safety behavior. Okay. But I have got a job in Delhi. Right? Delhi, and I am working in IIMs. But I have a homesickness. What happens here? When I am highly homesick, the contribution from job resources to task performance may be less. Low homesickness, it will be high. Right? Again, even though I have a homesickness, if I have emotional stability and openness, that time what happens? The impact of this homesickness will be less. So this is called as mediated moderated model. is what? Same. There is no difference. But my alternate hypothesis is that both are different. So we are interested in our alternate hypothesis. It is also called as research hypothesis. Alright. Okay, this is another condition. If we are implementing this statistical analysis, this is the major condition. See, to tell in a very simple language, I have completely today, it may be statistics, but we will be learning a layman's language. Okay, so here if I have to tell you, see, you will be having, in the medical field there will be research, and in the other social science field there will be research. In the medical field, we consider 99% of confidence interval, that means 1% of error is permissible. Is it understanding? 1% of error is permissible. But when it comes to our social science, we consider 5%. That means we should have a 95% of confidence interval and 5% of error is permissible. Okay? So whenever we are calculating a p-value, we should ensure that it is less than 0.01 in case of 99% of confidence interval. Can you see the first one? Where 0.000 to 0.010. In that case, we can reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternate hypothesis. If we are considering 95% confidence interval and 5% as the margin of error, in that case, our p-value should be how much? It should be less than 0.05. If you want, you can note it down. Same thing we will be implementing. That we can accept our alternate hypothesis only when our p-value is less than 0.05 or less than 0.01. All clear? This, if you want, you can just note it down. Okay. So your conceptual model, whatever concepts are there in your conceptual model, everything should be mentioned in your questionnaire. Otherwise, you are studying something, but you are collecting different things. So you are studying your conceptual model, same thing should be collected in the question. Okay, this is how is the process. From the theory you are identifying, from the self-determination theory we identified the motivation. Motivation had a sub-concepts, intrinsic and extrinsic, and that through that we came up with the statements, indicators, and we formulated a question. Then we collected the data, then we fed the data into the system. This is how the process goes. Okay. Now these are some of the types of questions which should be there in the questionnaire. If I say open-ended with numerical response, what is this? We are giving the whole liberality for the participants to write their responses. Now let me just show you. This is one of the example. Right? This is another example. Which type of question it is? Whether it is open-ended with text response or closed-ended with numerical response or closed-ended with text response. What do you mean by open-ended and closed-ended? Open-ended is you are giving a freedom. Closed-ended, you are restricting the freedom by giving the options. Right? So here if you see, under which category it comes? It is numeric response, one is clear, and one more is it is restricted, so it is a closed-ended. Next one, is it a closed-ended or open-ended? It is closed-ended with text response. What about this one? It is closed-ended, but it is also called as Likert scale. Right? Then this one, closed-ended with the text response, but it is multiple response. You can take more than one option. So in our questionnaire, we may have these kind of options or these kind of questions. Okay. So this is very important. I think this is not something new to all of us. It is a measurement level. We have 4 types of measurements. One is nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. This nominal is nothing but it is a category. I cannot tell that male are better than female. I can just identify that she is, this is male, this is female. I am just categorizing. formulated the conceptual model. Now we collected the data also. After collecting the data, what we are going to do? This is what we are going to learn. Now here, once the data is collected, you have to ensure that all the data, all the responses are completely filled. So editing has to be done. Then you have to code it. The system will not understand human language. We have to teach it its own language, and the system can understand only the numeric language. So for that we have something called as coding. Right? Now I may tell that I have collected the responses from male and female. But for the system to understand that, I have to mention that male means 1, female means 2. That is coding. For every option, you have to provide that. Then you have to enter the data. Then finally there will be a data analysis. And under statistics, there are 2 important branches. One is the descriptive statistics and one more is inferential statistics. So under descriptive statistics, you are just describing the data which you have collected from your respondents. From that you cannot come to the conclusion or you cannot test the hypothesis. So that is a descriptive statistics. That is what we are doing initially. And it can be a sample profile also, including the percentage analysis. Right? Then to test the hypothesis, we need to have inferential analysis. That is why it is called as inferential analysis, because from that particular analysis we can infer something from the data. We can conclude something from the data. We can test the hypothesis. Right? Under that also we have 3 univariate analysis by taking only 1 variable. We have bivariate analysis by taking 2 variables. And we have multivariate analysis by taking more than 2 variables. Right? Now let us go to the SPSS. All have SPSS in your system. Shall we go for the practical component? But before that, do you want to take a break? Okay, 5 minutes break, then we will go ahead. All can keep ready your SPSS. We will be moving to the practical component, and you can keep ready the various documents which is sent. The questionnaire also. Questionnaire, Excel sheet, everything you can keep ready. see how we have to feed it manually. First I will teach you how you can feed the data manually. Then how to feed the data through Google Forms. You will be collecting the data from Google Form, right? Some may collect from the hard copy. Then some we may collect from the Google Form. Both the ways we will try to learn here. So let us first understand this particular study. So here what we are doing is, in this study, it is already published. It is the impact of technology integration among the teacher's performance. So how technology integration impacts the teacher performance, that is what we are going to see in this particular study. So here, initially you have some demographic profile. You have some demographic profiles such as gender, age, department, right? Then you are actually moving up with the concepts. We have three variables over here. Technology integration is our independent variable and teacher performance is our dependent variable. Is it clear? Right? Then apart from that, we have something called as teacher learning. So ultimately in this study what we are going to do is, we are going to see the impact of technology integration on teacher performance. Along with that, we are also seeing the mediating role of teacher learning. How technology integration enhances teachers' learning and that teacher learning improves the teacher's performance. So this questionnaire is basically about that. So initially I told that any data you are collecting, first you have to describe that particular data. The moment I tell that you have to describe that particular data, it is nothing but having a sample profile. How many are male, how many are female, which department they belong to, right? So all these basic details we have to get. But for that, whatever data we have collected should be fed into the SPSS. Now first I will teach you how we can manually feed the data. You can go back to your SPSS window and go to your variable view section. Here you have different columns: name, type, width, decimals, label. So here you can see this column and the label column, value column and measure column are the important ones. So first, in the questionnaire, the first question is the gender. So let us feed gender over here. You can directly feed that in the label section. Just write gender, mention gender, and everything will be created automatically. And here you should remember that you can only provide the code. You cannot use the space, you cannot use some of the special character. So here you can just have a code. I can just mention gender, GND. Alright? Then here you have something called as values. I mentioned earlier that the system will not understand what is male and what is female. For that we have to code each of the option. Now under gender we have two options, which are those male and female. Now we have to code that. So when you have to code it, you have to click under the values here. Can you click? Did you get this? All got this box? Yes? No? See here under values, right side you have to click. All got? Yes. Now under values, you have to write 1 and we will be denoting 1 as male. It is up to you, either you can 46 to 55 years. All got how to feed it? Then you can just click on OK. Last one. Once again. I think we have done some mistakes over here. Add. You have to click on add. Then OK. Understood? Any doubts? Any clarification? This is just a data feeding. We have lot of things to cover in SPSS. Right? Now let us see the statements. So these are some of the normal closed-ended questions. Now let us see the statement. How to add the statement? Here we have technology integration. You can copy these three statements. Copy all the statements. Each statement will be taken as each question. You can copy all these three statements and go back to SPSS. Here in the label you have lot of flexibility. You can just paste whatever from the questionnaire, right? You can select the three rows and you can paste it. So these are the statements from the questionnaire. The first statement under technology integration, second, third, right? So here you can give the coding TI1, TI2, technology integration, TI3. Then same way, what are the options for each? Here what are the options? It is nothing but strongly agree to strongly disagree. Okay. Now under values, again I have to click here, go under the values, and one indicates what? One indicates strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. You can add that. 2 indicates disagree. Next we have neutral. Neutral is nothing but 3. Then agree. Agree means 4. And finally we have strongly agree. Now you have to click on OK. All clear? Now for the statement type of question, if the options are same for all the statements, in that case you can copy this value. You can copy this value cell and you can select these two cell, right click, paste it. No need to again feed that. Any clarification? This is just the data feeding. Those who have already collected the data, you can start feeding it this way. Then you can hand over your data set to the statistician or you yourself can do it. Any doubts? So far all are following? Yeah. Okay, shall we proceed? So in case of same option, same thing can be copy pasted to other questions. Okay. Yes. Now let us proceed. This is how you feed the data manually. All the other questions should be fed into this particular page, that is nothing but the variable view, and here is the data view. Data view is nothing but whatever responses respondents have clicked on, same responses you will be feeding over here. Right? Now for example gender, right? One indicates male, there may be many respondents who are male, then I may have females. This is how you have to look into the hard copy your respondents have clicked on, you have to feed the data. Any doubts here? You can raise the question so that you can sort this out here itself. Any doubts? No doubts, right? This is how you feed the data manually. Okay, when you have a hard copy of the questionnaire, this is how you have to feed the data. Now there is another situation wherein you have collected all the data using Google form. When you have a data using Google form, first you have to download the Excel sheet from the Google form itself. That downloading part everybody knows, right? So here I have got my demo data. So this is the Google form data. So this is from the Google form. I have removed all the variables so that it is understandable to everybody. Here we have only few questions. One is gender, then technology integration. Okay, this is how they have ticked. Now the first thing what you should do before feeding this into the SPSS understand only the numeric language. First you have to convert this into numerics. How you are going to convert that into numerics? That is, yes, first you have to number these values. So you have to click Control H. Can you click on Control H together? Control H together. Are you getting this box? There? Control H. All are getting? Okay. Now we have to find, for the first column we have two options, that is male and female. Male indicates what? 1 and female means 2. Right? Now let us find, let us do with female. Female is how much? 2. So wherever there is female, we have to replace that to 2. We have to find female, replace that with 2. And here you have the option of replace all. Can you see? Click on replace all. Everywhere it will be 2. Wherever there is female, it will become 2. All got? Okay. Next we have male. Male indicates what? 1. Again replace all. We are getting, right? We converted all the words into numerics. Then, which is the next question? It is the statement type of question. Likert scale, we have the similar option, that is strongly agree to strongly disagree. Now, strongly agree means what? It is 1 or 5? It is 5. Strongly agree, 5. So you have to replace all. All done? Strongly agree replaced. Here you should be little bit careful, because the moment you are taking agree, disagree also has agree, right? So it will become dis 4. So first you make sure that you are doing the strongly disagree first, then disagree, then you can go with the agree. Okay? Now you can go with the strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree is how much? 1. Replace all. 3 we had. Then we have disagree. Let us take disagree before agree. can open the new window. You can open the new window. All are there in this window. Shall we proceed? I am taking it very slow. Shall we proceed? Yeah. Here you have file. Click on file and here you have the option of import data. Import data. Go to Excel. Click on import data and go to Excel. You can click on Excel and find that Excel sheet where we did the modification. Whatever modification you have done, kindly save it and you have to select that Excel sheet. So this is the Excel sheet. Select it. Then you have to click on open. So this page will appear. You have to click on OK. So same thing has appeared. No need to manually feed the responses looking at the question. Shall I repeat this process? Yeah. So what you have to do here is go to file, new file you can go to. This is the new file now. First you have to go to file, go to import data. Third one, import data, and you have to click on Excel. Click on Excel and this is the file which we saved. Google Form data, click on that and you have to click on open and this file will appear. Then you have to click on OK. The data set will appear here. No need to manually feed it. Yes. Which option? Import option is not there. Here under file. Import, is it a trial version? It is a trial version. Just try it. Let us try with this. Let us just see whether this works. See, follow the command. Go to open. Click on data. Click on data. Are you getting this page? Yes. Now here you can click on Excel. Did you get that? Yes. Now select that particular Excel and click on open. Open. Okay. It works. It doesn't work? File is not there. Just check in download. Go to download. I think you have downloaded it, right? See here. All kindly have attention here. Go to file. Go to file. Open. You can click on data. Click on data and here there will be spaces, file type. Right? There you have to click and you have to click on Excel. All Excel. When you click on Excel, all the Excel file will appear. If it is not in this folder, it may be there in some of the folder. You have to search where it is. Where is that Excel sheet which we saved just now? If you have just downloaded, it will be there in So here these are the parts which we have to cover in our analysis. The first thing will be the sample profile. When it comes to your results chapter or results section in the paper, first you need to have a sample profile, that is nothing but the percentage analysis. You should know how many percentages of women are there, men are there, who belongs to which stream. All that we can understand through sample profile. Then you have something called as descriptive statistics that contains of mean, median, mode and other aspects. Okay, that also we will be learning. Then finally we will be going with the inferential analysis where we have different kinds of tests. Then comes the advanced version. So we will be covering only till inferential analysis. Measurement model and structural equation modeling requires another advanced software, that is AMOS. So we will be doing till inferential analysis. We will try to learn, even if it is small also, we will try to learn it in a best manner. Okay, everybody should understand it. So let us implement it now. Now you can go to the actual file which is sent to you. Did you get this file, data set? Yeah, now we will be doing the analysis in this file. Kindly open this file. You can close all the other files. All the other files you can just close and open the files which is sent to you. So this is the complete data set with only 50 respondents. The same paper we have worked on and it is published regarding the technology integration. So this is the data set. So this is in the variable view and here is the data view. Now suppose if you don't want these decimal points, you can come back to a variable view and here there is a column of decimals. You can reduce that to 0. You can copy it and paste it to all the cells. Okay. So this is the complete data set which is sent to you. Kindly open the data set. We will be doing step by step, starting from sample profile, descriptive statistics, then to inferential analysis. Now let us go with the sample profile, that is nothing but the percentage analysis. Kindly write in your book sample profile and the command. You can write it in your book. Same thing you can practice after you go home. Okay. Now for this analysis, first you have to go to the analyze. Can you see the option over there? Go to analyze. This is for the percentage analysis. Go to analyze. And here you have descriptive statistics. Don't click on that. Just hold the cursor on descriptive statistics. Then click on frequencies. Click on frequencies. Write the command percentage analysis heading. Under that write the command analyze descriptive statistics frequencies. Analyze descriptive statistics frequency. Click on frequency and this is the box which you are going to get. Okay. Now for us to have a sample profile, only the basic demographic profile we should take. That will be gender. You can click on gender and you can hold control and select other options. Age, department, employment status and how many hours of using technology. All done. Now you can leave control and drag it here. You can drag it here. It will come to the variable side. Okay. Now click on the statistics option over here. Click on statistics option and here you have the option of percentile. Click percentile and here you have to write 100. Percentile 100. No need to click other options. So you can just add over here. Add and continue. No need of other charts. We just need a frequency and percentage. We are doing a percentage analysis. You can click on OK. So these are the results. frequency is also added, percentage is also added. Same way you have to do for age, department, employment status. Yes, I can repeat. This raw table we are going to get from the SPSS, right? So from this raw table, you have to put that into an attractive table, and in single table itself you can provide all the demographic profile. Right? Here you can put the demographic profile, then the second column can be the options, third column can be the frequency, another column can be the percentage. Now if you have to take age, for example, you can consider all the age, frequency, percentage, and drag this, and here you have to keep your cursor, it will take everything. Very simple. So for me to identify the various ways of using Word document and then the Excel sheet, it took lot of practice and lot of interpretation of data analysis. So here in this region, most of the scholars who are doing their PhD, they need some kind of consultation in the data analysis. So me and my guide, Professor Nias, he gets that data analysis, and when it comes to interpretation part, I do this interpretation. So this is how, with the practice, you will improve with this. And this is how you can present your percentage, and you can show your percentage analysis in this way. Only whichever is highest you can mention there. You can see here the integration of technology was perceived by the teachers, where out of 50 respondents, 32 of them were female and 18 were male. Either you can interpret the percentage or you can interpret the frequency. Okay? So this is how you have to do your percentage analysis. Is it clear? Is it not visible? See there? Now when it comes to the age, 30% of teachers were aged between 26 to 35 years, 22% of them were aged between 36 to 45 years. Very simple. You are just seeing the table, interpreting the table. Percentage is clear? Sample profile is clear? Shall we move to the next component? It is the descriptive statistics. This is not sent to you. It is my worksheet. Wherever I go, I just demonstrate it. It is not sent to you. If you want, you can click the picture of the same. You can do it. Okay? So there are various table format which we have developed when we are doing the analysis interpretation. So this I am not supposed to send it to anybody, so I have not sent. Right? Okay? Okay. Shall we move to the next part now? That is the descriptive statistics. Alright. Now we have many statements. Right? We have many statements provided. Under technology integration, there are 3 statements. Under teacher learning, there are 3 statements. Teacher performance also, we have 3 statements. Now to just in one glance describe it, we are using descriptive statistics. That is nothing but we are making Shall I repeat this? Shall I repeat? Okay. So you have to go to analyze, descriptive statistics, go to descriptive, and here you have to click on these three statements. Click the statements, drag it to variables, go to options, click on mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. And you have to click on continue, click on OK. So this is the descriptive statistics. What does it indicate? The technology improves student engagement in the teacher learning process. And if you see the mean value, what is the mean value there? 3.8. 3.8 comes between neutral and agree. Right? That means most of them have positive perception towards that particular statement. Suppose if it was 2 mean value, what would be the perception? They disagree with it. Right? They have a negative perception towards that particular statement. So this is how you interpret the same. So here is the interpretation for the same. This is the raw table. You can convert this raw table into a standard table. Right? And then you can interpret. So here you can show the highly agreed statement. Which is the highly agreed statement out of 3 statements in the output? Which is the highly agreed statement here? This one. Technology facilitates access to a wide range of learning resources and materials. So this is the highly agreed statement. Here I am mentioning that. Teachers highly perceive that technology facilitates access to wider range of learning resources and materials. In bracket you can mention the mean value. The highly agreed statement and the comparatively low agreed statement can be shown in your interpretation. Very simple. Alright, so far it is clear. Percentage analysis and descriptive is clear. Now let us go to the inferential analysis. Now comes the actual inferences. Here we are going to test the hypothesis. You can see the sample profile example and descriptive statistics also. And this is our published paper. Same data whatever you have, only 50 data you have, same data we have published in the previous year. And this is how we have presented our descriptive statistics. Okay, with the same table. Now we are coming to the inferential analysis. Inferential analysis is to draw the conclusion or the test the hypothesis. Okay. Now here there will be many kinds of tests that we have to implement, and those type of tests depends on the some statistical assumptions. So all have heard of normal distribution. When we study statistics, we have something called as normal distribution. It is nothing but whether whatever data you have collected, whether it is normal or abnormal. The first statistical assumption testing we have to do, that is the normality test. Your data should be spread in such a way that it is falling, 25% of the data is falling in this stance and 25% in the maximum stance, and the 50% of the data should fall within the range of Q2 and Q3. Quartiles we have, right? So we have Q1, Q2, Q3. Q2 is the median, right? So your data, for example, we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 25% of the data should fall within 5 to 4. 25% of the data should fall within 1 to 2, and remaining 50% of the data should fall within 2, 3, 4. So that means your data is normally distributed. When your data is normally distributed, you can go with parametric test, which is highly reliable and highly scientific for any kind of research. If your data is skewed, right skewed or the negatively skewed, in that case you cannot go with the parametric test, you have to go with the non-parametric test. Very important assumption that once your data is normally distributed, you can go with these types of tests, parametric tests. If your data is not normally distributed, then you have to go for non-parametric test, which is less authentic. Okay, this happens when you are going up with the probability sampling. When you are collecting the data, based on your convenience, if you are collecting the data, you will always get your data abnormal, skewed. When you are going with the probability sampling, that is simple random sampling by considering all the groups of your sample, in that case, your data will be normal. And your statistical analysis also will be authentic. So that is why we should avoid our convenience when it comes to data collection. It will be highly skewed. All your data will be highly skewed. Right? So these are some of the tests. I will tell you we will just practice each one by one. We will try to cover all the parametric tests. The non-parametric test is same as whatever is there in the parametric test, but the condition is that it is not satisfying the normality assumption. Okay. Now let us understand this. There are various families here when it comes to test. The first family is the t-test family. Under t-test we have three: one sample t-test, independent sample t-test, and then paired t-test. And we have another family of ANOVA, that is analysis of variance. It has plenty of things under analysis of variance: one-way ANOVA, two-way ANOVA, MANOVA, BANOVA, and there are many things under ANOVA. Another family is regression. Regression is the population, China's population. Now I cannot say China's population, I have to say India's population, because we are top in terms of population. Right? So it has a huge family, regression. Right? So now, which is suitable for a hypothesis, you have to see. The first one, that is t-test for single mean, is the one sample t-test. One sample t-test has only one variable. Either it can be independent or dependent. For example, if I am taking age, and I want to see whether there is any difference in the age of the sample which I have collected and the average age of the national population. Imagine that average age of the national population is 28 and I have collected 400 sample and I want to see the average age of my sample, whether it is same as the average age of the whole nation's population. Variable is same, but I am checking the difference in the averages of the national which is set by somebody and my average. In that case, I have to implement one sample t-test. This is the first one. Second one is the t-test for independence or independent sample t-test. So here we need to have two variables. Initial one we had to have only one variable. Here we need to have only two variables, and under two variable, one variable should be categorical or nominal. And one variable should be scale. Imagine that you have technology integration and one more variable as categorical. What it can be? Gender can I take? Yes. It is a categorical variable. And under that categorical variable also you must have only two options. How many options? Only two options. Can the gender be the best suited one? Gender is categorical. Under gender how many options we have? Only two. Male and female. In that case I can apply t-test for independence. You can see that one independent variable, it should be categorical, and one dependent variable. Okay. Next we have one-way ANOVA. Now for example, I gave you the example of gender. How many options we have? Two. In some cases we will have another gender. Right? In that case, which test to use? Suppose if you have more than two options in the categorical variable, in that case you have to go with the one-way ANOVA. Is it clear? Technology integration will be one dependent variable. Independent variable will be the categorical, but the condition is that the option should be more than two. This is one-way ANOVA. Next you have paired t-test. Paired t-test, always remember it is for before-after scenario. Before demonetization demonetization, what was the technology integration? After demonetization, what is the technology integration? In that case, we are using parity test. Then we have correlation. You know what is correlation, right? Increase in one variable leads to increase in other variable. So here, under correlation, both the variables should be scale. You cannot go with the categorical variables, both in regression as well as correlation. All clear? Okay. Now let us see one by one. So these are the hypotheses. See, the first hypothesis, teachers' perception on technology integration is significantly different from their average perception. Only one variable we have here, that is technology integration. And I want to see whether there is difference in the average perception and the actual perception, which test we are going to implement. It is one sample t-test. To better understand, let us go back to the SPSS. Go back to your SPSS. Now we are implementing one sample t-test. Age and the average age. Earlier scenario. Here, the mean technology integration and the average technology integration. Now we have 5 options, right? Agree, strongly agree to, strongly disagree. Which is the average? Neutral. 3 will be the neutral. We are seeing whether they have the positive perception or the negative perception or the neutral perception. We don't want to see the neutral perception. Okay? And we want to see whether their actual perception is different from the average perception. So in that case, we have to run one sample t-test. You can write down the heading one sample t-test, and under that write down the command. Go to analyze. Go to compare means. Analyze, compare means, and here you have one sample t-test. Write down the command. Analyze, compare means, one sample t-test. Click on that, and we are seeing technology integration, right? Technology integration. So here are the statements of technology integration. Click on that. Select all the 3 statements by clicking on control. Select all the 3 statements. Then you can drag it to the test variables. Drag it to the test variables. Then now you have to go to options. It is 95% confidence interval. If you want, you can change it to 99%, but we usually keep 95 in the social science. Any problem? Any doubts? Any clarification? Fine. Okay, next you have to click on continue, and here the test value will be your average. Now in that example which I gave you earlier, it was national average 28 years. But in this case, what is the average I am going to consider? Neutral average, that is 3. So here you have to write 3 and you have to click on OK. So this will be your one sample t-test. significantly different between male and female teachers. Okay, now identify the variables over here. Which are the variables existing? See, teachers' technology integration is significantly different between male and female. Technology integration is one variable. Yes. Another variable is male and female, that is nothing but gender. So we have one scale variable and one categorical variable with how many options? Only two options. So which type of test is best suited over here? It is independent sample t-test or t-test for independence. Right? Shall we find this? Shall we test this now? Okay. Now let us go. Now the command will be for independent sample t-test. You can write the subheading. Go to analyze. And click on compare means. Compare means and independent sample t-test. Analyze, compare means, independent sample t-test. Click on that. Now I am going to see technology integration. There are three statements. See, if you want the whole technology integration, you can calculate the average of the technology integration. It is already calculated in your data set. You can go down. You can scroll down. Here, this is the technology integration average of all the statements together. That you can drag to test variable. Okay. Then what else we are taking here, which is another variable? Gender. Drag the gender to the grouping variable. And here you have to define the group. Group is nothing but the code which we have given earlier. Right? How many codes we have given for gender? 2. That is male as 1 and female as 2. So here it will be 1. It will be 2. You can give continue and you have to just go and check 95% confidence interval. You have to click on OK. So this is the result. Can you see this result? What is the p-value? Significant two-tailed? Too much, right? This interpretation part is too much. If you get the understanding, see, there is no need for us to do it manually or calculate manually. You just need to know what is your hypothesis, which are the variables present in that particular hypothesis, which test is suitable, and command. Just to do that, and you have to take only the necessary information from this whole raw table. If there is any necessary information from the raw table, one is mean. What does that mean indicate? See the mean over there, male we have, female we have, right? For male it is 4.56. For female it is 3.51. What does it indicate? It is technology integration, right? High level of agreement was given by whom? Male or female? It is by the male. And low level of agreement was given by the female. That means there exists a significant difference in the technology integration between male teachers and female teachers. This is the clear interpretation of the same. That again we are proving the hypothesis that technology integration significantly differs between male and female, where male is advanced in case of adopting the technology. This is the interpretation. No offense. Okay? If I say male are better or female are better, this is just the data. Right? So if we consider female as 1, male as 2, then it will be reverse. Alright. Okay, next one. What is the next hypothesis? There is a substantial difference in the integration of technology among college teachers before and after COVID-19. sample t-test. This is the command. Analyze, compare means paired sample t-test. Click on that. Now here in the data set, we have to find before and after. See, can you see this item? Technology integration. If you see in the questionnaire, here is that question. Adoption of integration of technology in higher education before COVID, after COVID. Right? The same statement we have to find here. So this is before COVID and this is after COVID. Shall I repeat? The whole command. Go to analyze. Compare means paired sample t-test. And we have to find the item. Technology integration. See, problem solving. This is, yeah. Before and after, sorry, this one. Integration of technology in higher education before COVID. This one. And this is the after COVID. Just find this item, integration of technology. Both together. One is before, one is after. Okay? Click on OK. And this is your paired sample t-test result. See the paired sample t-test result. Again, the most important thing for us is mean. In t-test, we are just seeing mean difference. Look at the mean over there. Integration of technology in higher education before COVID-19. What is the mean value? 2.72. After COVID-19, 4.22. What does it indicate? It is technology integration is more after COVID-19 pandemic. Before it was less. And we are seeing whether there is any significant difference between before and after. That we can see in the p-value. What is the p-value? Significant two-tailed. There in the corner. 0.000, which is less than 0.05. So we are accepting or rejecting the hypothesis? We are accepting the alternate hypothesis. Okay. Now let us see the last one. We have two more. Now this one, H4. Teachers' technology integration is significantly different among different departments. We have different departments, right? We have science, commerce, management. So I want to see whether the technology integration is different among different departments. So how many variables do we have here? One is technology integration and one more is what? It is the department, right? Department, whether we have only two departments or more than two. More than two. In that case, we cannot use independent sample t-test. So we have to use one-way ANUVA. When the categorical variable have more than two options, in that case you have to use one-way ANUVA. Okay? Now you can write down the heading one-way ANUVA. We will test that. You can write the command analyze, compare means, and last one you can click on one-way ANUVA. One-way ANUVA. So here you have to select the department. Can you see the department over here? Click the department. This you have to take down to the factor. Your independent variable will go to the factor here down. Take it down. Then technology integration, you can take the average in the end. The first one, technology integration. Take to dependent list. Just check whether mean is clicked. There is no option. We have to click on descriptive. The third option, click on descriptive. This is very important. And you have to give continue and OK. So this is the result of one-way ANUVA. Now again look at the first table, that is descriptive. Under that you see the mean. Which department has a high technology integration among different departments. Okay, this is another hypothesis. Now let us test the last hypothesis. I am also seeing everybody's face and all are tired and information is overloaded. It is flowing, right? Data is here and there. Okay, so let us test the last one, then we can go with the other aspect and complete it. So the last one hypothesis is there is significant association between gender and the frequency of technology usage. So this is chi-square. Chi-square we can use when there is no scale, only categorical variable. When two categorical variables are there, in that case you can use chi-square. This is a very basic test what we teach to our students as well. You can just go to data set, click on analyze, and you can go to descriptive statistics. You can go to cross tabs and you can select what was the variables, gender and frequency of technology usage. Gender you can take to row, frequency of technology usage you can take to columns. Go to exact, nothing to check here. Here you have to check chi-square. Under statistics, click on chi-square, then continue. No need of other one. Just click OK. This is the result of chi-square. Here we are seeing whether there is any association between gender and frequency of usage. That means if I am male, whether I use technology more. If I am female, whether I use technology less. That kind of thing. So here when you see, here is the p-value. The first one, Pearson's chi-square, you can see 0.000. That indicates that there is significant association between gender and technology usage. Very simple. Alright. So there are many types of tests. These are the tests which you can use only when your data is normal. If your data is not normal, there are other non-parametric tests which we may cover in the future. Alright. So just to give you brief idea about various non-parametric tests, instead of independent sample t-test, for non-parametric version when your data is not normal, you can go for Mann-Whitney u-test. And instead of paired t-test, you can use Wilcoxon sign rank test. These options are there in your SPSS. And instead of Funway ANOVA, you can go with Kruskal-Wallis test and repeated measures ANOVA, Friedman's test, then Pearson's R and Spearman's R. This is for the correlation. Correlations, Carl Pearson's correlation is the parametric version, Spearman's rank correlation is the non-parametric version. Okay? So these are the analysis. Then we have regression, which is a little bit advanced. So this, shall we do it? One last command? No? Last. This is last. So here, under regression, you should know that both the variables should be scale. Let us take technology integration and technology performance. Correlation just shows how it is moving. But regression shows to what extent one variable is contributing the other variables. Okay, now let us see to what extent technology integration is impacting teachers' performance. Okay, now let us just last one test let us do. Let us go back. Regression analysis you can write analyze, and here you have the option of regression and you have linear, and just go down. Technology integration is your independent variable. Technology integration independent, teacher performance is dependent. Okay? Then you can just click on OK. This is your regression result. See here, the beta coefficient is very important in regression. It indicates that you can see that 0.592. What does that indicate? That any increase in technology integration contributes to 59.2% increase in teachers' performance. And the significance, if you have to see, the significant value is 0.000. That means technology integration significantly impacts teachers' performance. This is the result. structural equation modeling. First you have to test the measurement model, then same model has to be tested with the relationship, that is called as structural equation modeling. It is nothing but whatever conceptual model you have prepared, you are statistically testing that model. That itself is the structural model. First you have to check whether the model can be tested through measurement model, then finally you are testing the structural model, and it is called as structural equation modeling. Yeah, that is all about your results. Then after you finish writing your results, the next section will be the discussion. So only providing the results, only providing the numbers will not give much attention to the reader. Reader will not be having any kind of attention in reading your results. So that result has to be discussed in a very pleasing manner. So the discussion is very important. The first thing is that you have to mention what was your objective, and from that objective what you have found from your hypothesis testing, and how your results are aligning with the previous study. What they found, what you found, whether it is similar or contradicting. If it is contradicting, you have to provide the reason why it is not proving true in your context. You have to provide the justification. Otherwise there will be a question. There will be a question that you must have done some mistake in your analysis. So if you are proving that this is insignificant or negative, in that case you have to provide the justification why it is insignificant in your context. Right? So this is how you should write your discussion. There are various steps, and the discussion itself I have taken a separate session. We had a long series of sessions in our college, and there was a separate session for the discussion only. So I have if I have to explain, there is a lot of things to explain. So you have to mention about the objective. See how they have mentioned the research aims to examine. You have to mention the objective. Then you have to show what was your findings, and you have to align that findings with the previous research. You can see for each hypothesis, present the result of that hypothesis first, then link that hypothesis with any existing research on the hypothesis. So linking is very important in case of discussion. Then you have to go with, again this is another example, then you have to mention why it is significant, why it is insignificant. That justification should be given. So here, why it is insignificant I have mentioned. It is due to the fact that trust promotes investors' confidence. If trust is not there, the confidence will not be built. Right? So these are some of the examples. Dealing with the contrary findings. Suppose if you get contrary findings, how you have to justify also, you have to mention. Now here in this context, in all the literature it states that leadership, a good leadership leads to better performance among the employee. But in this study, they proved that leadership does not impact the employee's performance. Rather, it negatively impacts the employee's performance. So he has justified saying that it may be due to that the work only may not give him all the satisfaction. He may not have proper work-life balance. That is why he is not satisfied. That is why the employee performance is not good. That justification should be given. Right? If it is insignificant also. So these are, another one is important. See, initially when I started, I mentioned that problem is very important. Right? So we are conducting a research by considering any problem. Right? The moment when you are completing your research, the first thing what you should understand is what benefit you are giving to that particular problem, or what solution, recommendation, implication or impact you are giving to solve that particular problem is very important. So you have to understand what is the implication of your data analysis, big tools you have used, statistical analysis you have used, lot of structurization you have done, but ultimately what is the contribution or implications you are going to give for the society or the existing knowledge is very important. In any of the top tier journal, if this and the problem both are strong, then there is a chances of immediate acceptance. So first thing you should question yourself whenever you select any kind of research problem, why you are doing that study. If I am doing this study, who will be benefited from to that particular stakeholder. The moment you can, get this answer, why you are doing a study, then 75% of your work gets done. Because your cause and your intention is good, and ultimately it will have a success. Methodology, anybody can run methodology, or you can take the help of anybody for methodological aspect. Research may be difficult, but your intention and cause behind conducting some kind of research is very important. In conducting the methodology, anybody can help you, you yourself can learn. But ultimately what implication you are giving is important. Right? So you should know what kind of implication you are giving to the theories, existing knowledge, what kind of implication you are giving to the society or management or various stakeholder is very vital. Right? Now here if you see, there is a theoretical implication or theoretical contribution. First theory what was introduced was that is theory of reasoned action, where we have mentioned attitude and subjective norm leading to the intention, leading to the behavior. Next, another author added something to that particular existing theory, that was his contribution. That was perceived behavioral control. Right? So this kind of implication should be there in your study. Data analysis is later. All the researchers have the misconception that statistics everybody should know, then only we can do research. Analysis everybody should know, do. Then only we can run the research or do the research. No. It is not about analysis or tools or methodology. It is about your intention and contribution. So what contribution you are giving to the practice? Practitioners, policy makers, government, authorities. Now suppose if it is an educational institution, what suggestion you can give to the management of the educational institution plays a vital role. Right? So here also when you are writing implication, what was your research gap? What was your research problem? How your research problem can solve the particular scenario or problems. You have to mention that in the implication part. Then each research, as I mentioned, that it will have its own limitations. Right? I told it is a journey from problem to problem with a scientific and systematic procedure. So you will have some or the other limitations in your study, and that limitations can be taken forward by the other researchers. You must have considered one particular geographical location. You must have considered only 400 people. You must have done only cross-sectional study, not longitudinal study. Right? So all that becomes a limitation, and that can be the proposed and new study for the coming researchers. So any study will have its own limitation, and that limitation should be acknowledged in your results. Nobody can tell that my study is free from all the flaws. There will be some or the other kind of limitation that each researcher has to acknowledge. So once you acknowledge, then you have to propose the future directions. So direction for future research also should be provided. I must have used only motivation, job satisfaction and job performance. There may be many other variables that is contributing. So you can suggest for your future researchers saying that we can add organizational commitment to it. We can add organizational citizenship behavior or sustainability practices. Right? Anything new or anything addition that can be done, that has to be suggested to the future researchers. So this is how you should conclude your research. And finally, I will come to this. As a faculty, what university expects from you? Right? Now, this is the NAAC criteria. We all know as a faculty we have worked on our NAAC files and other things. So this is the NAAC criteria for universities, and if you see the total count, we have 1000, and out of that highest portion is gone to the research, innovation and extension. And under that we have 100 points for research publications and awards. Research, research is to solve the problem, but at the same time for us to maintain our position or maintain a good repute in the institution, we need to ensure that we are involving ourselves into the research, we are having sufficient publication in a good quality journal, then only we can provide some kind of contribution to the students as well. So when we have a practical exposure, when we know everything, that is first and foremost thing. Having knowledge about the particular subject is very important, but doing research in that will build even more knowledge to your existing knowledge, and that can also contribute to your teaching. So that is how research can help you to come up with some kind of advanced teaching. Along with that, the publication will give you a repute in your institution, and ultimately it will benefit the institution. So we have to think from win-win point of view of the educational institution as well as the employees. So this is very important. We cannot, as a faculty members, we cannot avoid research. The research is the unavoidable part of any of the academicians. So I urge everybody to take up research and learn more about research and publish lot of paper and provide some kind of contribution to the society, to the students, to yourself. Most of the time it comes to an individual level. To ourselves, we should contribute something first. So as academician, if we can contribute something to ourselves, to our personal brand building, is research publication and research initiatives. So I urge all the faculties to do the same, and if you have any doubts or any clarification, you can feel free to ask. Yes. What else? Somebody here is the beta. Yes. Internet. Beta value and P value. Any doubts? Any clarification? At least 70% all have understood. Yes. 80%? No. Only 70%. Okay. That is enough for me to have 70% satisfaction, but I will have 100%. Being in this institution, I have spent 3 years, in this particular institution, and I have got to learn a lot of things. As a beginner, how to teach. The first teaching experience I got from this institution itself. As a scholar, I have learned a lot, and from all the faculties, they have supported a lot. Even though I was the beginner, all the senior faculties trusted me, whether it be Sharmila madam or Nelson sir or Sonia ma'am or anybody, all have trusted, Shilpa madam also, and trusted, and they have given me the opportunity to take the advanced subjects in the class, and I am truly grateful to Srinivas University and all the faculties who are here, who listened to me patiently and got some 70% of the knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you for the coordinator and Nikshita madam also. She was calling me again and again, and I was also calling her again and again, asking what type of statistics I should cover. Because most of the time what happens is, as a beginner, I have experienced that all the resource person, they go with advanced statistics and we get nothing from the workshops. So I thought we will go with the basics. So I assume that all have got some at least significant amount of inputs from this session. Thank you all.
When knowledge meets clarity, transformation begins. Thank you so much, Dr. Neha Parveen, for today's session on mastering basic data analysis through SPSS. It was not just informative, it was truly eye-opening. The way you broke things down, shared practical insights, and connected it all to meaningful research practice really struck a chord with us. Thank you so much. Your practical approach gave us more than just knowledge, it gave us clarity and confidence. We now feel better equipped to bring these tools into research in a way that actually makes a difference. On behalf of the organizing team, our faculty, and every single participant who walked away feeling inspired, thank you for giving us your time, your expertise, and your energy. You made day 4 of our FDP program feel genuinely transformative. Thank you so much.
I now request Professor Sopanika, Coordinator of FDP, Assistant Professor, Institute of Post Shipping and Logistics Management, to kindly present a token of gratitude to Dr. Neha Parveen. Thank you, ma'am. With that, we concluded this powerful session that has set the tone